Now, before I get into the topic of today's discussion, I want to start off with a question, and therefore my personal answer to said question. What is art? Now, for me, artistic works are actually broad. Anything that is a creative work, regardless of how awful it is art to me. Everything from bad Atari games to the doodles you drew in kindergarten. It's all art. Jumping off this question, I have another one, mainly for myself. What is meaningful art? While many things are art, not all of them are meaningful. To me, meaningful art is something that brings a statement, something new, something bold, something that challenges the norm and creates work in its own image, something you have never seen before. With this definition, I want to cover one meaningful art piece, one that was released, gained a small amount of traction, and then was completely forgotten about. Yet, I believe this art piece holds a powerful statement, and we can find peace in ourselves within it.
I got some troubles, but they won't last. I'm gonna lay right down here in the grass, and pretty soon all my troubles will pass. 'Cause I'm in Sugartown. I never had a dog that liked me some. Never had a friend or wanted one. So I just lay back and laugh at the sun. 'Cause I'm in Sugartown. Yesterday it rained and
Of all things, it's a Geometry Dash YouTube video, uploaded by a well-known Geometry Dash artist known as Kaiguy. On August 9th, 2021, this video, an art piece, a meaningful one at that, is known as Arcturus, but it's blue. Before I talk about it, I want to give some background information. Arcturus is a fairly well-known Geometry Dash level. Originally created for the impossible levels list in the early days of 2021, this level is fairly straightforward. It's a hell-themed level with a unique song and fairly derivative gameplay. This level would be overshadowed by other levels in the community, such as Ballistic Wistfully, despite being top 1 when released. It's not particularly interesting on its own, except something interesting would happen to this level. This level would get a nerfed version made of itself, which would actually get verified.
Okay, I verified it. What?
This brought new life into the fairly mediocre level, and since then, it was added to the Pointer Crate Demons list, where it sits today as one of the top levels. Now that you know what Arcturus is, let's look at the video Kaiguy uploaded. In this piece, we see Arcturus, a seemingly normal showcase of said level, except one thing is different, a huge thing in fact. The level's primarily color is no longer intact. Instead, it's replaced with the color blue. Blue, of all colors, is an opposite to the color red. This one singular change changes everything. Now, you may be scratching your head. Calories, why would this matter in any way whatsoever? The title is what you get. This is Arcturus, but it's blue. I get your skepticism, but let's analyze what these colors represent in the scheme of Geometry Dash, and I'll use this to demonstrate my point. In 2.0 and 1.9, the game's second and third to last updates respectively at the time of writing, many levels sprung up with the color red as their primary one. Levels such as Bloodbath, Cataclysm, the Hell Factory, Athanatos, and thousands more.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
All of these levels were derivative of each other. The color red, in itself, lost a lot of its intrigue to many individuals in this community. This resulted in other levels using blue as its primary color. A bizarre phantasm was updated to change its color scheme to blue during production. Quest for Perfection is a Cataclysm remake with the red swapped out for blue. Blue is the new red, and red is the older blue. Since then, red levels haven't died off, but they haven't garnered nearly as much respect as they once did. Red levels are still judged for being red. Blue levels are respected for being blue. This is a dynamic of the GD community which has never died. Let's look at what red and blue represent, outside of Geometry Dash, shall we? Blue is often associated with the ocean, peace, and the sky, whilst red is the opposite. Red is often associated with things like hell, the devil, and blood. The difference of these colors reminds me quite a lot of the yin and yang, except instead of it being black and white, it's red and blue. Both sides are opposites of each other, but deep down, they are similar in some ways, two sides of a coin. This dynamic is what carries everything we know. From peace and war, predator and prey, villain and hero, the concept of war itself, the concept of harmony itself. Hell, political parties in the US literally use red and blue to distinguish each other. If you're like me, you may have noticed that reality is often at a battle with itself. That is natural, that is how it goes. Conflict is a key element to how things function, how things change. To be in harmony is to require no change. Conflict is the opposite, and we're always in conflict. In our trying times, it can feel like things won't get better due to conflict, but the opposite can be true. Sometimes issues being brought up are the only way we can fix them. We needed a place to stay safe, so we invented housing. We needed to communicate properly, so we invented language. Everything starts with something, and most things came from an issue at hand. It's a classic case of problem and solution. I believe that Kaiguy is a pretty smart person, and during the production of this video was aware of all of what I just mentioned. Here we have a problem. Arcturus is fairly generic and uninteresting to the community. The solution is to remix it in some way, creating something new and better in the process. Let's look at the comments. It's almost unanimous that people prefer blue Arcturus as opposed to a more common red variation of this level. Kaiguy is very evidently aware that seemingly small changes can create big differences in the long run. Let's talk about the butterfly effect. In chaos theory, the butterfly effect is the sensitive dependence on initial conditions in which a small change in one state of deterministic nonlinear system can result in large differences in a later state. One take, suck my dick. The term is closely associated with the work of The term is closely associated with the work of mathematician and meteorologist Edward Norton Lorenz. The term is closely associated with the work of mathematician and meteorologist Edward Norton Lorenz. The idea is simple, yet complex. One small change in the past can create drastic consequences for the future. All the way back 5 to 6 years ago, when the red versus blue conflict began in GD levels, there was a small seed being planted that led to the creation of this video, to the creation of Arcturus, and to the creation of the masterpiece that is Arcturus, but it's blue. It's a simple concept, but one that applies to everything, and very clearly Kaiguy is aware of this. In the description of this masterpiece, Kaiguy states that they thought this would be a fun idea, and this is what led to the video's creation. But I think that Kaiguy knows more than what they're letting on. Consider this: why, of all colors, would Kaiguy pick blue? Well, because red and blue are opposites, of course. This decision clearly had been thought out. Of all possible colors to change Arcturus to, if any, they purposefully chose the one with the most history and significance to the GD community as opposed to red. Kaiguy is clearly a veteran of this game. I have no doubts in my mind that Kaiguy was subconsciously aware of the irony he was presenting here, and he knew what he was doing. Even the finer details of this piece seem to have a motive behind them. Let's look at the title. Arcturus, but it's blue. You may be looking at me weird, but analyze this deeper. You start with context. Arcturus. Arcturus is the level being remixed here for the purposes of this artistic piece which Kaiguy is presenting to us. But this is the second part of the title following the word Arcturus. You would describe this title the way you would a joke. In this case, it's the build-up. When you see this video for the first time, you read the word Arcturus and you think initially that this will be the regular video. But the addition of the words but and its build up to the inevitable punchline that the video wasn't actually a regular showcase of Arcturus, but instead is an edited variation. This video is entitled just Arcturus for a reason, and Kaiguy wants you to know this. And now we're at the final word of the title, blue. This is the finale to the 3-act structure we just witnessed. The elements of the title build up to our unexpected twist. So let's recap what this title is trying to tell us. This video is a showcase of the Geometry Dash level Arcturus. However, this showcase of the level has an unexpected twist, being that the main color of this level, red, has been swapped out for a more unique blue. This drastically alters the experience of watching the showcase because a key element has been remixed to create something new. Let's analyze the thumbnail and how it contributes to what I just discussed. This also follows a more subtle rule of 3. We have a screenshot of the edited Arcturus, but we also have a player in the middle and an effect outline. Let's discuss this in detail. The player benefits from this thumbnail by having a sense of familiarity to the audience. Everyone recognizes the fact that a GD icon is in frame immediately, and knows that the experience they will have by choosing to select this motion picture is that they will see a video about that game. Now that this has been established to be a Geometry Dash recording, we can move on to the next asset, the blue Arcturus screenshot. It may take a second to sink in, but this is indeed an Arcturus screen cap. The player icon helps the user understand that this is a Geometry Dash screenshot. As a result, their brain connects the dots and also realizes that by extension this is also an Arcturus screenshot. Now we have the final aspect of the thumbnail. This one is more subtle. It's the outline outside of the video, a blue fiery one. This one, while subtle, helps emphasize the fact that this is a remix of Arcturus. Another thing in this shot that isn't the player or the screenshot itself is the zoom or fisheye lens effect added to the frame. The border and zoom help visualize what the experience of watching this video will be like. You'll look at this thumbnail and understand that this won't be a normal GD recording.
Get the fuck out of here!
It's absolutely genius, because if you could look at one thing first, the title or the thumbnail, and immediately understand what you're getting into.
I know what that is!
If I looked at the thumbnail first, I'd know it's Arcturus but blue without even needing to read the title. And if I read the title first, I'd have my attention taken by surprise when I realized that this is a remix, though I'll quickly understand what exactly is being remixed by reading the following word after "but it's." I would know because this very same experience happened to me the day this video was first broadcast onto the World Wide Web. I was browsing after a long day, and I saw the title. I hadn't actually seen Arcturus before, and was planning to see it sometime that day. When I saw the word Arcturus in the title, I was rather excited and decided I should go ahead and watch a showcase of this level everyone had been discussing. But then, as if a piano fell on top of me like a damn cartoon show, I was hit with the words "but it's." The only thought that was running through my mind is, but it's what? How could this Arcturus replay differentiate itself from normality? I decided to read on. The word blue hit me like a truck. I laughed hysterically. I didn't have much time, so I added Arcturus but it's blue to my watch later playlist. I thought that it was hilarious how I was bamboozled by the title, and decided to seek out the punchline to this later. When the time came, I had a glass of sweet tea and a half-eaten popcorn bowl by my side. I decided I should finally watch that interesting video I had seen prior. I watched this remix of the level and I loved it. I thought this level excelled at what it's trying to do, and when I decided to watch the original Arcturus, a level by MaxFS, I was underwhelmed, as I felt the blue remix had benefited the level significantly more. With all of that important analysis I just brought to the table, let's take some time to discuss the creator of this legendary video, Kaiguy. Kaiguy, from what I've observed, is a somewhat controversial YouTuber. Many people think that his method of abusing the algorithm for clicks is a bad one. A lot of his videos, in the eyes of these critics, are considered low quality or effortless. I hope I've shown you that the opposite is true. Kaiguy very clearly puts in a lot of thought and time into these videos. I mean, the 3-act structure of the title and thumbnail, the symbolism of the color blue. Arcturus but it's blue is a testament to the fact that Kaiguy, the popular Geometry Dash YouTuber, is one of the most creative and articulate pioneers of this platform. Content is subjective, but it's clear that Kaiguy's content is objectively good because I said so. He's absolutely killing it with the YouTube platform and is reaching newfound success. All of this is entirely earned, and I think that the Blue Arcturus video is a perfect examination as to why. So much thought, effort, and creativity went into creating this product, and for what? A minute-long video? It's absurd how he could put so much time into changing all of the colors in the level, and only get a fraction of the attention he deserves, if not less. He puts way too much effort into these videos. Everything down to the titles, the thumbnails, 3-act structuring, cause and effect mentality, it's all here. It's one of the greatest triumphs I've ever seen on this platform. I've seen my fair share of Kaiguy videos, and a lot of them seem to have to do with taking old media and turning it into something new. Obviously, in my eyes, the standout example of this is his artistic piece, Arcturus but it's blue, which is the basis of my essay and my favorite video of all time. So let's use this as a segue to talk about the importance of remixing older works. There's a strong argument to be made that there are no original ideas under the sun, and you cannot make something truly original. Everything we've ever known already exists, of course. Inspiration is the only way the brain can think, and constructing something that isn't similar to anything else in any way, shape, or form is simply impossible. Let's look at a unicorn. A unicorn tends to be the default example of creativity, but let's analyze it. Everyone has already pointed out a unicorn is simply a horse with a horn on its head. Yet I don't think anyone would say a unicorn isn't creative. Think about it this way. The thought behind taking a horse and putting a horn onto it is a simple thought, but a great one. The work is enhanced and made into something new. You can easily pick apart the inspirations, and that is okay, because most people like unicorns. It should be illegal to hate unicorns. If you don't, you should go to prison. The idea of improving upon something simple and well-established is how we move forward in society, and ignoring this principle is the thing which will set us backwards. The Blue Arcturus video shows that the best changes to society can be the ones that are the most seemingly small. When I saw Arcturus but it's blue, I was inspired, deeply inspired. It changed my well-being and it changed how I view art, and the progression in society entirely. It changed my worldview. Every aspect of this video is so delicately put together it's unheard of. Kaiguy knew what they were doing when they made this. I'm absolutely sure of it. There's no way in hell that they didn't understand the nuances they put forth when they were conceiving this absolute masterpiece of a product. I mean, let's look at the thumbnail again. Right next to the player character there's a question mark. A question mark. What if we make Arcturus blue? And the video itself is an answer to that. I mean, let's look at the origin of the question mark itself. Supposedly in the Middle Ages, scholars would write quaestio at the end of a sentence to show that it was a question, which in turn was shortened to quote. Eventually, the Q was written on top of the O, before steadily morphing into recognizably modern question mark. No way in hell this is a coincidence. The thumbnail is asking you a question. Now we have a connection to the Middle Ages. What have we done since the Middle Ages? We've improved. And the question mark is a direct example of this by showing to the viewer. Even the thumbnail has tons of nuance into it. And why of all levels was Arcturus chosen? Well, let's look at Arcturus. Not the level, but the word. Arcturus is a giant red star in the northern hemisphere of the Earth's sky, and the brightest star in the constellation, the Herdsman. Arcturus is also among the brightest stars that can be seen from Earth. Astronomers say Arcturus will end up as a white dwarf at the end of its life. We know that humans are currently trying to get to Mars, correct? Arcturus, obviously, is red. What planet is blue? Earth. You may have noticed another color missing. Green. Blue and green are often the main colors associated with the Earth. So you think I'm drawing connections when there are none? Think again. For a couple seconds into the video flashes green. I knew that this is the connection. The linchpin of what Kaiguy was trying to put forth in this video. Kaiguy is trying to tell us that instead of moving to Mars, we should instead make Arcturus, the star, compatible for human life. You may think that I'm drawing lines where there are none, but explain all the nuances and hidden details. Arcturus But It's Blue is a video about art progression. Art is the DNA of the human soul. Of course, it's also about how we adapt over time. We can also see that the level flashes red, a pinkish color, and a yellow one. So how does this tie into my theory? Well, pinkish violet-like colors are often associated with space. The color red is flawed, as discussed earlier, and yellow is often associated with deserts, which are impossible to survive in. It's no coincidence the order they're in. First, the superior color, blue, followed by the pinkish color, the red, and the yellow. Here's what I think. No, I know this means. So the pinkish color is an indication of the fact that we have to go to space. The red color is showing us our current world and how it's flawed, and the yellow color is showing us that one day the world will become nothing more than a deserted wasteland. Basically, we have to go out and live in Arcturus in order to survive. Kaiguy is a prophet. They're warning us about our future. Arcturus But It's Blue isn't the simple Geometry Dash video you once thought. No, it's a high-effort video essay on how society is doomed to fail unless we don't change our ways. It could also be seen as a commentary on climate change, political culture, anything really. This video is universal. Every problem can be simplified down to red and blue, yin and yang, predator and prey. We're back at where we started, because we're destined to end up here. In decades, when I have children, I'll show them Arcturus But It's Blue. Arcturus But It's Blue will be studied in schools. It'll reach the level of the Mona Lisa, Citizen Kane, To Kill a Mockingbird. Everyone will love and cherish this video. When people look back at the smartest people in history, Albert Einstein, Stephen Hawking, all of them, there's one familiar face that will soon be listed next to them. The man that took what was red and made it blue. Kaiguy, the greatest filmmaker of all time.